Okay, so bear with me for a moment and go ahead and watch this little clip, and then afterwards, go ahead and like and subscribe. Why not, right?
Hey guys, Sachia Vickery here. I'm at South Florida Center for Cosmetic Surgery. I'm getting my procedure done today with Dr. Brandon. He's an amazing doctor. I can't wait for my procedure, and it's just a great facility. Everybody here has been super nice, super accommodating. I'm excited.
Now, Sachia Vickery has made worldwide news at this point because people in the UK are talking about her and here in America. I know that's not the whole entire world, but you get what I'm saying. They're talking about her and her career shift. Now, I will admit, I had no idea who this woman was until it came out that she had a spicy account, and with that account, she was making pretty good money, etc., etc. But I didn't have a problem when that came out. Here's the thing: if you're a professional athlete, and professional athlete does not always mean that you are super rich, wealthy, or famous. It just means that that's your profession. You get paid for doing it. If you get hurt and you're not able to work, and that seems to be a case for her. She had a shoulder injury and she wasn't able to practice or perform for 6 months, and that's when she started her other career into the more spicy side of the internet that she's making more money from, etc., etc. But if you're a professional athlete and that's what you dedicated your whole entire life to, and you choose to make a slight shift and not into the full-on corn industry, but into an industry that could be likely to lead to that or close enough to that. And as long as you're being safe and responsible, why not? My only issue is when I heard that she said that she charges $1,000 for a date. Now, if I'm a man who pays $1,000 for a date, I'm going to expect a happy ending. Well, not even a happy ending, a glorious ending at the end. $1,000 deposit for the date. So that $1,000, let's say if the date cancels, do I get my deposit back? Let's say if the date goes on and it was just a crappy 45-minute to hour 30-minute dinner date, do I get my money back then? I mean, is that just securing your time? I just don't understand the whole entire $1,000, and why are you even taking those deposits from your OF account? Now, look, she's obviously an attractive woman. I did see some of her gameplay. She did move a little stiff, but I figured that could be because of all the cosmetic surgeries she may be getting. Because whenever I did look at the South Florida Center of Cosmetic Surgery, their specialties were breast augmentation, mommy makeovers, tummy tuck. They even do full-on surgeries for reassignment. So they do a little bit of everything there. Now, you're thinking, and like most people think, naturally, oh, well, you're a professional athlete. You got to be very well off or more well off than the average person. Well, she has made a little over $2 million while she was playing tennis, right? And when I was looking at her track record, there were some years she made as little as like $6,000. Other years she was making over $200,000 when she was performing. Now, she said herself that whenever you're going through, better yet, let me just go ahead and let her say what she's got to say about this.
And recently you made some headlines with being on OnlyFans. How have you felt? Have you had any fans reach out to you? How has the response been?
Yeah, I've had an overwhelming response. A lot of people, I've gotten negative comments, I've gotten positive comments.
Yeah, I'm sure all this is drove her traffic to her OF page to astronomical heights, and she probably won't need to play tennis ever again at this point because people are going to be curious.
It's just something I started up earlier in the year. I like to venture with different projects outside of tennis, and me personally, I've had a great experience on the platform. It's another side of me. I make really good money doing it, and I also enjoy it. It's I get to have a little bit of a normal side to me. So for me personally, I enjoy it.
And what inspired you to start it up?
I have a really close friend.
Now, I will say this. With the rise of these websites like OLF and the fan site, etc., it's going to make the option of being a professional athlete less and less appealing to people. Because if you think about it, if you see people like Danielle Bogoli or who's the little bad girl? Little Tay. And the other girl, I can think of her name here, Sophia, I think, Sophia Rain. When you see these young women and they're making multi-million dollars, I think Lil Tay came out and made a post saying she made 15 million so far. Danielle has made well over 50. Sophie, it's not really calculable, but I think she's in the 100 million range or so far. You know, these girls are not necessarily athletically talented. They're not professionals in any way, shape, or form. However, they found a way to make a lot of money very fast with little to no effort. So whenever you have a professional athlete that has put her body through the ringer, that did all kinds of training and physical therapy, have injuries, and she's like, you know what, I'm tired, let me just try to get some easy money, I'm all for it. I am 100% all for it. The only part of this whole entire story that kind of irritated me a little bit when I heard $1,000 a date, because that turns into from you just being on OF, maybe selling some content that could be a little bit risque, to what it sounds like, you know, S work, like full on prostitution. And that in itself is going to make OF more regulated and restricted, I think. Because I still remember the U.S. government cracked down. This is like, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago at this point, when Craigslist and Backpage were a thing and people were booking services through those websites. And the U.S. government came in, cracked it down, and shut those parts of the website down. I think Backpage got shut down completely, while Craigslist, they had to remove their section that helped advertise those services. I have a feeling with this new attention that you can book a date for $1,000. I'm not talking about this for her, this for in general. That's going to get the government attention, because why? That's money, that's revenue. And of course, the government, they want to make sure they can get their piece of the pot, because whatever you're paying for that $1,000 for, and the government gets that little share of it, they're going to want what you get paid after the fact. And again, I'm not saying that that's what she's doing, but that's how it sounds when you just kind of think logically with this whole entire announcement that was made, or this broadcast she made.
He's a huge creator on there, so you know, I saw he was doing really well, and he's obviously a different level on it than I am, but just overall, I got the opportunity. You know, people reached out to me about joining the platform, and you know, I just started it and I tried it, and it kind of took off. You know, the tennis marketing aspect of it helped me a little bit. But yeah, it's a fun way where I get to be myself a little bit, so I have no problem with it.
Are there interesting parallels, do you think, between professional athletes and something like OnlyFans, where it's sort of like, you know, they both involve like conditioning and training in your body and that kind of stuff, and is there some sort of overlap there?
Yeah, definitely different training than tennis, but I think one thing people...
I don't know what really training is involved, but, you know, whatever.
Don't realize is when you're on OnlyFans being a content creator, it's like you kind of have to spend hours, you know, making content for subs and this and that, and also there's different levels to OnlyFans. So obviously I'm not super far on the far side of it, but I'm having fun with it, and definitely different, but it's a way for me to have an outlet outside of tennis.
Now, when other people will hear this and her talking about, you know, the whole entire doing OF thing, they can hear it as a sense she doesn't believe in her tennis career. And again, what made her start doing this, which doesn't show this in this clip, was her having a shoulder injury, and that is where it made her go there. Now, normally when I talk about people in my videos, I like to go to their social media and show it with you guys and go over it. However, I can't do that with her because she shows a lot of cake in her Instagram, on her Instagram. Same thing with her TikTok. So I can't show none of that, but it's interesting. She's an attractive woman. She's naturally physically built and also cosmetically enhanced. So yes, she's going to catch a lot of male gaze. And yes, this could potentially retire her, but I hope it doesn't turn down a full-on porn career for her. And it's just something as an avenue to make a little few extra bucks.
Is there anything else you'd like to add, or?
Yeah, I would probably say, like, maybe the only thing I've gotten is a misconception of, me doing, like, sex type of work on OnlyFans. I personally don't. That's the only thing I've seen in some of the articles. I think it was the Daily Post UK. Yeah, but that's definitely not on my platform. I do push boundaries, but not to that level. Another part of, the tennis and OnlyFans aspect is I think people think, when you're on tour, you're automatically making a ton of money. Like, yes, I have done very well throughout my career. I've made great investments from the time I was young, so, it's like, oh, I'm fine. But at the same time, tennis players spend $100K plus a year on coaching, hotels, food.
And let's say she started her career when she was 20. I don't know when she started her career, but let's say she did start it when she was 20. And she made about $2 million, a little bit more than that. And that's like, what, $200,000 a year? And if you spent like $100K alone just on trainers or whatnot, of course, that's just $100,000 a year. And who knows what other expenses may occur. So I get it. She's not rich, but she is more well off than the average person, to where you would think this wouldn't be necessary. But you never know the story behind the scenes, right? You never know what she really has going on in her personal life. As long as she's safe and she doesn't compromise herself, I'm all for it.
Training, physio. So if I have another avenue where I'm able to make a lot of money to support that, I don't see anything negative with it personally. It's an expensive sport. So, I invest a lot of my money from there back into tennis. And I think that's one thing people don't understand. Like, they think it's, I'm just doing it to do it. It's a great moneymaker. It's a great investment. If I have the potential to make a lot of money on there, why am I not going to take it?
Well, you guys tell me what you think. I just want to kind of go over that real quick. I think the next video I'm going to do is about Rampage and his son, Roger, I believe his name, and the situation that happened in the ring, the wrestling ring, and just go over a little bit of their history. So if you want to hear about that, like, comment, and subscribe.